125th, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Orlando, Indianapolis, Houston, and now,
Yeah.
Black Ink Radio.
May I go get X amount to love in? Nah, but for real, you already know what it is. Steady, nigga.
Signs all around me like a zodiac. Red flag showing like a Soviet. And that's treason trying to hold me back. P and Reason said wrong, we saying no to that. And that's the reason why we know we that. What you paying for, the bitches wanna show me that. Gold pedals, heavy metals, yeah. 4 rebels push chrome pedals. Yeah. Food chain, I'm on the top of every level. You ain't a colonel, you ain't popping in my kettle. I'm the West Coast, now the king gone. I'm married to this game, I got my ring on. Ain't shit a motherfucker telling me. 20 years probation, only 2 felonies.
Yeah, gone with the flow, that's why I'm learning more. Y'all niggas don't want beef cause y'all some herbivores. Y'all gon' get on tracks and spit shit that we heard before. Ever since I got a taste, I want it more and more. Yeah, there's just some shit that I penned and I cannot fake it for real. No make believe or pretend. I was seeing niggas back, but we knew we'd be here again. I'm already a vet, I've been doing this more than 10. Your friends turn to enemies, enemies turn to friends. We went from Impalas, now we jumping out the bins. Thumbing through the 1s, 5, sliding down the 10. Ballin' on these niggas got me jumping out the gym. I just pray to God every night, he know I sin. I come from the 6 side, love this road right where it been. Yeah.
I can show you how to last. Show your boy the cash. I unleash pure gas for 30 plus. Fell down, jump back up. Now these fools study, but they ain't close enough. It's heavy. Sucker duck, dummy dodge the busters. The streets ain't fair, niggas I don't trust them. My team super solid, we breadwinners with knowledge. Monopoly, Alexander O, pay homage. My cottage, never went to college, we chose up. Hit the mic booth every day, we gon' blow up. You know what? The hood gon' go nuts. All the scats on the A doing donuts. Skirt.
Steady, nigga.
Steady, nigga. Yeah. P.M. Reason, nigga, you already know what this is, boy. Yeah. Ooh. I do it different, with a new ambition. Could be worth a mention. Up in mama's kitchen, it's vision driven. King had a dream, I had a triple beam with high self-esteem. Some niggas hate it, we steady elevating. They lost they pivot in it because they hesitate. Chrome throttles over Insta models. Got a long pill for that bitch to swallow. We kept it pushing, they kept overlooking. Now we overcooking. Promoters want my booking. In my DMs, I don't open, I don't see them. Hoping I don't get a message from my BM. I be glad it's night. I got my pip with me. Light bulb, light work, you getting lit with me. I knew I was the plug when I disconnected. I'm unapologetic and I'm well respected.
101, they can copy, wanna be me. Yes, I won, all my haters know I'm eating. Upper echelon, tell by how my diamonds gleaming. Dug it out the mud, got clarity like a VVS. And we just made a way, don't need no GPS. We took it while they waiting, no, we ain't second guess. You ain't first, then you last, we don't do second best. Some people out in past us know they finally got the message. Risk it all, took a chance, but no, I don't regret it. Hit the gas, get me high, get me closer to my blessings. School out of session, why these niggas wanna test? It's a marathon and I refuse to let them catch me. Yeah. It's a marathon. Yeah. School out of session, why these niggas wanna test me? It's a marathon and I refuse to let them catch me.
We kept it pushing, they kept overlooking. Now we overcooking. Promoters want my book. In my DMs, I don't open, I don't see them. Hoping I don't get a message from my BM.
101, they can copy, wanna be me. Yes, I won, all my haters know I'm eating. Upper echelon, tell by how my diamonds gleaming. Dug it out the mud, got clarity like a VVS.
right. Peace and blessings, beautiful people. It's your girl, High Heels. Not for the shoes, but for the healing of energy, the teleportation of higher vibrations. Get with it. You are listening to Oracle Connect live on Black Ink Radio. So I opened up, that was, in honor of Kanye, and speaking of people controversial, that was my ex-husband. His name is Rome Steady, featuring Reason, The Chill, and some other people that I cannot remember their names, but that was really dope. Shout out to the ex, you know what I'm saying, y'all? We got to make sure that we keep it cool and keep it copacetic, even though, black love might have ended, family is family, right? So today I want to talk Kanye West. He has been all over the internet lately, and we've had a lot of more of our pro-black pages, slamming him, but I really have always been a fan of Kanye, and I've always understood where he's going and where he's coming from. And I think that it's important that just as we have platforms that are going to continuously talk negative, I do want to have a conversation, and I want us to talk about really where he's going. Like, do y'all see what he's doing? Because throughout all of his time of being a celebrity or being in the forefront, I've always seen a purpose behind him. I've always seen content behind him, substance behind him. So we're going to play a few clips. We're going to have a conversation. I've sent the link out to people that asked for me to send the link out. So we'll see if we have some interaction on YouTube. This is one of my first times of it's just being me, just me talking. I usually have people coming on and doing interviews, but I just wanted to give this time to clear some air. No, really though, I had something else scheduled, and this was a pivot, but this was a pivot move. You gotta keep it real. This was a pivot, but I really do feel like we talk so much negative about Kanye, and I'm like, but do y'all see what he's doing? Or are y'all so caught up off of the 15-second clips? So what inspired this was, I can't hear myself now, but
why not?
I don't know. Oh, I can't hear myself a little bit. Okay. We're good now. But what inspired this was him
you
wearing...
You went deaf for a second?
It just went for a second. I couldn't hear as much. So I just, the perfectionist in me was like, if I can't hear, maybe they can't hear. I got to make sure it's good. Okay, beautiful. But yeah, so what inspired this was the White Lives Matter shirt. And everybody had something to say about it. And when I first saw it, I didn't have nothing to say because I knew there had to have been a reason. So I want to play a clip. The first clip is going to be, it's a post from Brother Ben X. Shout out Brother Ben X. Go and follow him. Tap into his digital real estate. Tap into Hereafter Farms. But it's a clip where Kanye actually does explain why he wore the White Lives Matter shirt.
At a certain point, it felt like I saw white people wearing shirts that said Black Lives Matter, like they were doing me such a favor by having a t-shirt that reminded me that my life mattered, like I didn't already know that. So I thought I'd return the favor and let white people know that, hey, your life matters too. It's sort of like when random people will see the documentary, and the documentary was, the third chapter basically was saying, hey, we all love Kanye, but sometimes you got to turn the camera off on him. Meaning, like, don't listen to everything. Yes, we know he's a genius, but feel free to put him on mute whenever he doesn't align with what we're telling you. And so sometimes I'll see people at a fashion show, and they say, we saw this documentary, and they say, are you good? And I'll say, are you good? So it's like Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter.
And
it's just simple as that.
Why do you say Black Lives Matter is a scam?
Well, because it's proven. They had people who end up taking money from it. I mean, this documentation is out there. And just as black people, we're going to need more than just a T-shirt and a $6 million home. We need what was promised to us. Much like how we never received our 40 acres and a mule, and that puts us in a position where we feel we have to abort our children to the point where there are more black babies aborted in New York City than born at this point. It was similar to At the Gap, they promised stores. At Adidas, they promised stores, and they didn't do what they promised. They felt like they could disregard what was promised.
Now, all y'all who was in my comments, oh, Brother Ben, you don't understand. You sleep, brother. You're not woke enough. Brother, what Kanye was really saying was he was talking about this. And now, brother, because see, you followed the teachings of the honor. See, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. See, what he was really saying was, see, oh, this too deep for you. Listen, Kanye just explained up here why he wore the White Lives Matter shirt. See, this is why I didn't jump out there and act like I knew what he was talking about. I said, hey, what do y'all think he was talking about? What do y'all think he meant? I said, there must be a method to the madness. See, I didn't want to jump out there and act like I knew and then somebody else don't know. No. So here go Kanye West himself explaining why he wore the White Lives Matter shirt. Now, stop all that arguing in my comments. Sit down somewhere, go get you a bean pie. Come on over and get you a bean pie. And if you're a business, go to www.drewaitlist.com because I'm giving over $19,000 worth of value for free this Sunday. Go sign up for the wait list and stop all that arguing in the comments.
Peace to Brother Ben X. Peace to Brother Ben X because he always coming to y'all. Now, there was something interesting. There was a couple things that's interesting about that. First off, y'all, the comedy in it, like, because that is true. You know that ever since the George Floyd thing and the Black Lives Matter situation, or I guess campaign began, it almost became like this thing that white people do to make you feel like, okay, we like y'all, we believe in y'all, like Black Lives Matter. But it's almost such a contradiction and a slap in our face. And when we see people like, what's her name, Candace Owens, she has a whole documentary about how Black Lives Matter is a scam. Candace Owens is a person that most of the Black community completely demonized, right? And we talk all sorts of shit about her. Ooh, I was just cursed. Talks all sorts of shit about her. But again. But the thing is, though, a lot of times when you're really looking at what she's doing, she just did a whole documentary to just completely dismantle Black Lives Matter and show that it doesn't. It was another thing that white people use to capitalize off of our suffrage, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I completely agree that I think it's dope to have a White Lives Matter shirt because I'm so tired of seeing Black Lives Matter in East Atlanta. And that's the thing that the white people are showing to be like, hi, we accept you. Your life matters. As if I didn't know.
I think it's a little more simple than that for Kanye. And people don't realize it. And I don't know if he wanted to say it, but I'll say it. And I said it recently. He has white kids. He's in love with a white woman.
Well,
what the hell is wrong with him having on a white man? He has white kids.
He does not have white kids. He has black kids.
He has half white, half black kids.
They're black.
Why? See, y'all keep thinking just because there's black involved that it makes the kid fully black. It doesn't.
Well, it does in the United States of America. Okay, so this is funny you said this. It's something called a one-drop rule. Okay, in the United States, you have one drop, you're black. So my mother.
I'm not talking about them.
Well,
I'm not talking about that.
I mean, but you're black. They're black.
His kids is being raised by a Caucasian woman.
They're black.
So at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying as far as, the government goes. But if I have kids with a Spanish woman, I'm not going to just keep saying my kids are black. No, they're half Dominican and half black, or they're half Puerto Rican and half black. Like, I don't care. No one really looks at the Constitution when they speak about their kids. But just if you really look at the bottom line, his kids are white.
They're black.
They're partially white.
When their kids go into any kind of place,
I understand that.
With a whole bunch of white people, they're gonna be like, "Oh, look at those black kids over there."
No, they're not. Because
they're black.
Listen. We're talking about Northwest, and we're talking about the other one. I forgot the name.
It's Northwest, Saint, and Chicago.
You got 4 kids?
Yes, they have 4 kids.
All right. Well, the point that I'm making is, as kids, they're walking in with Kim Kardashian. No one's saying white kids.
Okay, well, if they're not with Kim Kardashian,
they still white.
But that's not them being white kids. That's them being rich kids. So there's a distinction between the two. They're rich celebrity kids, but they're black. If their mother was not Kim Kardashian, they're black at the end of the day.
But do you know what kids like that go through? They go through people like you telling them they black, and then people on the other side telling them that they're white, and you know,
okay.
it's
the reason why
I get it. I'm just telling you why I think
I get it.
that
but,
shirt.
Okay.
To him, like, come on, he got white kids.
But the thing is, okay, my mom is from South Africa. Okay. She's half white and half black. So my grandfather is Polish German, right? White,
straight white,
like super white, like blonde hair, blue eyed, white.
Like
okay,
Germany white, right?
Yeah, they're German. So when she came to this country, because in South Africa, if you are mixed, you are a colored. So you're not black, you're not white, you're not mixed. Your color is an actual kind of like race of people to be colored. Okay. And it's a little step up from being black. So when she came to this country, she considered herself colored. But she said that there was a moment where she realized, no, I'm black. Like, I'm not mixed, I'm not colored, I'm black. And if you continuously have this thought process that you're not black, you're going to have a moment in your life where somebody who is white is going to knock you down and let you understand I'm a nigga, and that's it. Like,
well, see, now you use the key word, nigga.
Right.
There's a difference. There's a big difference between what I'm saying and what you say. I get what you're saying.
Like, but it's a disservice.
There are white people who have no black in them whatsoever, and at some point they're reminded that they're a nigga because they might be, you know, a certain type of, you know, white people, trailer park, whatever, you know, or niggas or white people who hang with niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I get it. I mean,
and even with him sleeping white, because people will be like, you can't be pro-black but sleep white. You know, I'm gonna be straight up. Look, I love Kanye. I love him to death, but them sisters can have him. There was this time where Kim said he had her looking around the whole house to find a Band-Aid that matched his skin tone. Yo, I'm sorry, but the white girl can have.
What's wrong with that, though?
No, it's actually nothing wrong. Well, I mean, I'm not about to. Man, that's a high maintenance man right there.
No, he is high maintenance. I mean, you know, a Rolls Royce is high maintenance because of the price, right?
Right.
She got a rich nigga, so come on. He want to go outside. He don't want the Band-Aid he don't want it to be seen.
Well, yeah, but also, you know what though? He turned it. This is why he deep though. This is why I fucks with him, because he flipped it and said, "Do you realize how hard it is for me to find a Band-Aid that's my skin tone? But you can go in the store and find a Band-Aid your skin tone easily. Yeah. Like, that's the issue. Like, why do we not have Band-Aids that are our skin tone? So we have to walk around. How do you pin something on face?
Just hold on to it, and then they'll say pin. First, you have to make the comment first. When it goes out, hold on to it, and then they'll give you the option.
Okay, keep going.
To be honest, first we got to understand why Band-Aids are the color they are. First.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're not white either. They're beige.
Right.
There's a bunch of beige niggas running around here.
Beige ass niggas.
And they're not blood. They're not white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't take offense to a Band-Aid being in it, you know. It would be smart. Someone would make a lot of money making skin tone colored Band-Aids so that people won't see them. That's a smart idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's the psychology of it all, though. It's the psychology. It's just like when you have to really look hard. I'm going to do the second clip in a second, too, by the way. It's like when you have to look really hard for a black baby doll. You know what I'm saying? It tells you something about yourself as a person if the store doesn't have something that looks like you. It's now creating a stigma that, okay, so then people don't want to buy something that looks like me, or something that looks like me is not normal.
Well, another way I could take that differently.
Really?
Yes. I could see it as dolls that look like you don't sell. Y'all ain't even buying them shits. So why I'm going to keep making them?
We're buying them if you made them.
Listen, it has to be a demand for something. Let me tell you something about rich people and white people and anybody that sells product. They are going to sell it if it's going to make money. So I don't think they're going to deliberately not make black dolls just because they don't want to. Them shits probably ain't selling.
Yeah.
Or there's no demand. Like you have to. I think there's more black dolls because people have demanded it at this point.
Yes, they've demanded it because they've seen like, yo, I can't find a black baby doll. Like, there was a group called Operation Bootstrap in the 70s, and they were in LA off of Central and 42nd or 43rd. And they realized that it was psychologically damaging for young black children to not have black baby dolls. So they actually were like one of the first manufacturers of black baby dolls, and that was the 70s. So the reason why it's not in demand too is because of the way that we are raised and the way that we are programmed. We're not programmed to think that black is beautiful or to think that black is something that you want. So yes, it's not in demand, but that's because of the way that we're already raised. We're already raised to want to be white. To be white is beautiful. To be white is marketable. Yeah. And even when I used to do music videos, all the light-skinned girls was the main chicks, okay? Like, that was very rare to have a brown girl as being one of the primary models. That just wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying, where they're like, well, they're not going to make it if it's not in demand, but it's not in demand because we are already psychologically curtailed to want something that is white. You know what I'm saying?
That is true, and that's why a lot of the Darker Sisters wasn't, the main girl, because the artist could easily say, I'd rather it be this. He ain't doing that. Yeah. He looking at the light-skinned girl like, ooh, she look good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, instead of saying, yo, nah, could you, let me pick the main girl. Okay, I like her. You know, that's more my type. People are so afraid of speaking on what's they type. They rather pick what the society's gonna like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's her. She the one. She look good. Instead of saying, yo, this is what I like. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of it, honestly, is our fault, but it is psychological at the same time.
Yeah, it's our fault, but we just have to be aware. Like, we have to be aware. The next clip I want to play, this is from 2020 when he was running for president, and it was that rant that everybody just smashed him for, and the one where he cried. But he said that Harriet Tubman didn't free anyone. Well, you're gonna see it. But I wanted to play this clip, and it's kind of really a good segue into what we're talking about our thinking and our thought process, and about things that are marketed, and about consumerism, because this is a great example of why you're not going to find a lot of black baby dolls.
Work for other white people. The Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
She did. She went up north to work.
The National Basketball Association is not owned by any blacks. Universal Music is not owned by any blacks. Any celebrity that you see talking is not the real power. Because the real power that I am putting my line on the life and today to speak about, you don't see them.
Yes.
You don't see the real power. You don't know who's putting the internet in your schools just to track you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who's targeting you. Black woman in between the ages of 12 to 21 that follows this person in order to buy this product.
Yep.
You don't know who's the head of the boards. In risk or no risk of losing whatever deal possible, I am not on the board at Adidas. I am not on the board at Gap. And that has to change today. Or I...
Okay. So, I remember when that clip came out, the only part that they showed was the Harriet Tubman part. And that was it. That was it. And that just went viral. And then everyone was like, oh my God, Kanye's so disrespectful. Kanye is so, man, he's so anti-this and he crazy. Give him his medication. Kanye needs his medication. That was really disrespectful. So there's two parts that I want to address on that. So first, the fact that the rest of that was never played it always kind of shook my soul, because I'm like, why would you only play the part where he sounds like he's crazy and not the part that makes perfect sense as to what he's saying? Do you believe what he said, that Harriet Tubman didn't free anyone, that she freed us to go work for other white people?
Oh, I don't know, because, I mean, I don't know, because I wasn't there. And I was not there, so I would not know, number one. Number two, yeah, I don't know, because, like I said, I wasn't there. She freed the slaves, but what happened to them afterwards? That is a good question.
Yes. Yes. He's like, I don't know because I wasn't there.
No, I wasn't. Like, he doesn't know. I don't know if anybody knows.
Well, I guess what he's saying is that even though slaves were free and even though we are free legally, are we really free? Because we're still working for white people. Look at the NFL. That right there is slavery in its own way. That's servitude. We'll say servitude.
You know what?
We won't slavery. That's servitude in a way.
I'll say this then. Now I get where you're going. I kind of get where he's going. And I you know, it's sad. I don't like that we have to speak for him. Mm-hmm. I don't like that we have to decipher because he might not have meant what we're thinking. Because I've wrote music and people have broken it down in their own way, been excited. Yo, that's crazy. You said this, and that means this. That's not what I meant. But go ahead. So, he said she freed the slaves to go work for other white people. So, are you saying that it's because we're still doing it now? Because that's what it sounds like, and that would make a great fucking point.
Yes. I mean, but we still are doing it right now.
We are. Yeah. I mean, not all of us, because I don't.
I mean, well, you don't, because it's black ink. So,
right.
You know, but, which is why I'm here. But what he's saying is even going back to what we were talking about with the black baby dolls and stuff like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? All of these big industries are owned and run by white people. Right. And when you have someone who is actually inside telling you that, everybody wants to say, oh, Kanye needs to get on his medication. Kanye's crazy.
But that's what those very people that we speak of are the ones who put that out there to stop you from even believing whatever he's saying. They don't want you to believe. And he's trying to tell you, bruh, I did a lot for these companies and I'm not on the board of none of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. And that needs to stop. What he's saying is right, but I think Kanye's delivery is just off, and what he doesn't understand. I'm not saying going to say what he doesn't understand. What we don't understand is most presidential candidates and presidents and whatever. Excuse me.
Need some water.
They have. I do, but I'll be all right in a second. They have writers. Even when they're running for the presidency, they have their ideas. They have what they want to say, but there's someone who's writing it to make it sound good. If that was written by somebody else with his thoughts, man, he's an artist, he's a rapper, but he's not a speechwriter.
Yes, right.
So it's like, why we sitting there and we have to decipher what you're saying. We shouldn't have to. It should be able to be, someone needs to take that and break it. He would be a great probably be a great president. Who knows? Yeah. But he needs the help to deliver his messages. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I just feel like he kind of spelled it out.
He didn't.
He didn't spell it out when he said who owned the.
It was too much. It was too much of a pause between Harriet Tubman and that, which seems like they're not related.
Right. And I think too, what happened was after he said it, it was the reaction. But really, what he needs,
and it shook him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shook him up. So he's sitting there, he's looking at the faces, and he's probably thinking and trying to think of what to say next. When it should have been pre-planned.
Right.
A writer would have already said, they're going to look at you like you're an alien when you say this part, but then you say this and they'll understand.
Right.
He's not a writer. He's thinking niggas, like, if I'm a genius and I think a certain way, I'm not going to sit here and keep thinking y'all don't think like me. I'm going to think, you should understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? All I said is Harry Tubman freed the slaves to go work for other white people.
Right.
You should be like, oh shit, you're right. No, I'm looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? So when the slaves was free, I thought they went to the north.
Well,
look, I thought they went up there.
Well, actually, technically, he is right too, because when slaves were freed, a lot of them didn't have the way to get room and board. So that's where they created sharecropping. Sharecropping was just another form of slavery. So when we had the Reconstruction era, like, because I was a history major, I'm a history person. But after slavery,
I love history too.
Yeah, like after slavery, a lot of the slaves were still in their same place, and then so they created sharecropping, which was pretty much the same thing. So what they said was,
got paid.
Well, what you had was a share of the crops. So you would have a plot of the crops, you would work them the same way that you did as a slave, and then you would get money for it. But when you transfer over how much you're paying for your room and board and your food, you're really not getting anything. It's really the same thing.
You're just paying to stay. You're just not getting beat.
Yeah, I mean, you can still get beat.
You probably still just feeling prideful because you're making money.
Yeah, I mean, but you're still getting beat. It's the same thing. Sharecropping was just another form of slavery. It just was a legal way for slaves to be slaves. You know what I'm saying? So legally you're free, but you're still doing the same thing in the same process. You can still be beat because there wasn't no law against lynching. We still don't actually have anti-lynching.
When I say beat, I mean like
even beat. You can
when
still
you
get
working
beat.
and you getting beat for not working hard enough.
Yeah, you can still get beat. Why couldn't you?
With your own land? Because you saying it's my area.
Yeah, it's my area, but there still could be someone that beats you. That's still your boss. That's still the actual owner of the land. You know what I'm trying to say?
You ain't beating me.
Yeah.
If it's mine. We sharing.
We sharing.
Sharecropping. We sharing.
Yeah, you know. He said Professor Heels. Ha, yeah.
Right, she's going in.
My history background. But yeah, so I completely believe in trust. And I back what he's saying 100%. Because even when we're talking about, actually there's a clip that I want to get ready to play in a minute. Because we're talking about who owns everything. Like, even we look at our hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Hollywood has been used. Hillary Clinton, she quoted that hip hop is like a moving chess pieces on a chessboard for the government. Like, that is one of their biggest ways to control us and to influence us, is our entertainment and our music. I want to play a clip. About to play a clip real quick. This is from the interview that he just had. So I was looking for just, content. And I came across this interview that he had with, what is his name? Tucker Carlson or something like that. He got a real, white name. But it's on Fox. He's on Fox News. But this interview was dope. Like, if you have time to actually tap into the entire interview, I implore you to do so. But I want to play this clip from the interview. Tucker Carlson. That's such a white name. Hi, I'm Tucker. Hello.
I'm Tucker.
How are you?
Hi, Tucker.
I play foosball.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
For older white people, they're quick to classify a black person only by the fact that we're black. Even Trump, a person that's, we'd consider to be a friend of mine, when I went to the White House, I called him after that to get A$AP Rocky out of jail. And one of the things he said to me is, Kanye, you're my friend. When you came to the White House, my black approval rating went up 40%. And for politicians, all black people are worth is an approval rating. The Democrats feel that they don't owe us anything, and Republicans feel that they don't owe us anything. Blacks have never demanded something for our vote. And that's something I talked to Ice Cube about. What are we asking for? How do we change our life? If all of our organizations and all of our colleges and even our title as black was made by white people, all of our jobs, and Black Wall Street, Harlem after gentrification, there's never been a fully black-owned community where we have all the municipalities, things that Dr. Claude Anderson talks about. We need that. It's like 90% of America is not even developed. I'm not one of the people that go up and say, hey, I want to stop anybody from making money. The people that make money and the powers that be, I am your true Nikola Tesla.
Okay. That was a little different order than I was going to go in. So let's redirect the energy. So, that was a lot, actually. When I listened back to that, and he was like, Trump, someone that you would call a friend, but then at the same time was like, yeah, he said that you helped me with the black vote. So that was one of the reasons why I did not go into politics. Like, originally, that was my plan, was to, I was going to go to law school. I was going to be a U.S. senator. And my whole thing was to just dismantle the prison industrial complex. Like, that was my focus. And everybody in my school knew that. I went to UCLA, so they knew, this is this black chick named Golda, you know what I'm saying, who's about to, take over and be I guess, whatever Kamala Harris was supposed to be. But once I got really into politics and understood, because, when you're in college, and you're doing graduate work, you're actually really doing like the work that the politicians are doing as far as reading documents for them, summarizing documents. But one of the things that they talked about the most was the median vote. And this is why I feel like Black people, I understand that Black people fought for the right to vote, and it's very important to vote. But at the same time, it's very important to see and read between the lines. You know, I had a conversation earlier today where I said, like, I don't vote. And I stopped voting. I used to be very active and vote for every single measure and all that. But I started to see that voting, or that the presidency, it was all about the Black vote. Everything was just anything that we could do. Like, there was literally a class. And he was like, whatever you can do to get the Black vote, that's what you do. Whatever Black people are going for, that's what you go for. You know, once you get in, you get in. But you don't, and it's not up to you. Literally, he said it. It's not up to you to follow through. It's up to you to get that median vote, and the Black vote is how you get the median vote. And once I really started to kind of like digest that, you know, politics is a bit of a sham in a way. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. And a lot of these senators and congressmen, what they do is they sit on committees, right? So your whole goal is to get on a committee, like the Ways and Means or something like that, right? Then you get people to create funds. So you could have these little funds for all these different like causes that you might have. Like, say, you know, with the prison industrial complex, you know, I might have a recidivism program that I want to create. So I'm about to raise a whole bunch of funds for this. You can do whatever you want with these funds. Nobody's really watching the funds. That's why you hear a lot about congressmen and senators who are getting busted for skimming off the top. It's a business. And so knowing that it's a business, I don't feel, and people going to have an issue with it, but I don't feel like if I'm talking about making my people better, I don't feel like telling them to vote is the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because even with someone like the president telling his friend, oh, as soon as you came to the White House, my approval rate with Black people went up. Nah, like, if we're going to really do anything for our people, I feel like it's grounds. It's the grassroots. It's being on a people level, you know, and telling my people to vote, I don't think that that's helping them at all. And I think that that's one thing that he just exemplified. Because even when you are giving these people your vote, like, ain't none of y'all making them follow through. Like, who's really made Joe Biden follow through on what he said he was going to do? Has he even followed through? Has he followed through?
I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows? That's the point.
You know what I'm saying? But when they're running, it's a big champion. Like, oh, my boy Joe about to do this. He about to do that.
He did something funny the other day. So he said I think he's giving a presidential pardon to all federal inmates who are locked up for simple marijuana possession. Which is just the possession of marijuana. Then somebody went on to say that there is not one person locked up in the federal prison for simple marijuana, because federal, you know, when the feds come, they coming because you're selling it.
Yes.
So a sale or intent to sell or manufacturing, that ain't simple marijuana possession.
Right.
So there's no one that qualified for his what he did. But everybody's like, oh, go Joe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But no, he didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
That's what you talking about, basically. I said I was going to do something for you Black people, and I did it. Or I said I was going to do something for you criminals, and I did it, but you really didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's the crazy part.
Yeah, it's the woo-wop wham. It's the woo-wop wham.
But I don't think not voting is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that becoming more, encouraging our youth to become more involved in politics is a better way to go. Mm-hmm. And to try and try to find ways, or even pay, even you see how these people get funding for certain things. Mm-hmm. You can find a way to get funding for people to monitor and find out if they actually doing what they say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because you got lobbyists, you got people that's sitting there putting money in these people's pockets to get what they want. Mm-hmm. Now those people are getting what they want, because at the end of the day, they have big interest in certain things and they making sure it happen.
Right.
But the problem with us is we get money and we don't go lobby for whatever the hell we want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have billionaires, millionaires, even Kanye. Like he could be a lobbyist. He could be a person trying to you know, give money toward the campaign of certain people to get what we want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we don't do that. We're not involved. We choose to, and I understand why you choose to do that, because in your seat, it's the best move to not vote. I don't vote either. I just don't think that we should continue like that. I think the best move is to get the people who have the money to do the right thing. You know, and I think that's where we fall short. We ain't stepping up in no way to the plate that we want, and it's only the people that don't have it on the level that's you know, the level that's needed. We the only ones talking about doing the right thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, I agree, and I mean, but also part of the problem is too that the people that are the most active, that are in communities, they do the same thing that the government does. You know, they become a business for the people instead of for the people. Yeah. And it's like that's become my biggest issue. And I don't know if I'm coming off as this like angry, you know, the angry conscious black woman, but I do feel like, you know, there has to be someone that does speak up and hold people accountable and check you a little bit. Like if you somebody that you say you for the community, don't come in the community to make money off of us. That shouldn't be your whole purpose, is making money. Your purpose should be to serve the community. You know, like what we were talking about with Brother Risa. You know, it's dope that you actually don't know him, but from your first coming across him, you was like, oh no, you could tell he could really be like juicing people for money, but he don't do it. He do what he need to for his people. You know what I'm saying? And you know, because really he could have tried to put all sorts of a cover charge on that interview. He could have been like, I need this, that, I need 5,000, I need all of that. Because it's a lot of these people that is asking for that kind of money. They asking for $2,500 just to come into the building. You know what I'm saying? And asking to have a table and asking to market. Like, so I feel like, you know, with the voting thing, the reason why I just say that I don't vote is just because I don't want to participate in, I don't know, like I just don't want to participate. I just don't want to participate in something that I see firsthand I saw was a sham.
That's some bullshit.
You know what I'm saying? Like I watched, you know, there were some dope professors, and shout out to some of the dope professors that really like, you know, took me under their wing at UCLA. But then there were some who I watched put me into a category. Oh my God, this is a black woman named Golda, like, and she's African. Like, it was like creating this great story for me. You know what I'm saying? Rather than like, no, I really do want to lessen the recidivism rate, like for my people. So, you know, all that to say, I don't vote. I know we should change it. It's just that I feel like instead of thinking like, okay, let's change it and vote, I feel like let's change it and become more active in our community. You know, if like, because that's what you're asking people to do. You're asking senators and congressmen, and you're asking your president to do something to change your community. But instead of asking other people to do stuff, why are you not doing something to change your community?
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, it's that other concept of like, stop asking people to help you and help yourself. You are more than capable of doing that. Like, we have resources to do that. It's just that a lot of people, they don't, because they have been raised to be crippled to thinking that things are outside of themselves and it's only the law or the government's job to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why. But
you know, and also when people get involved with stuff like that, you also gotta, if you do want to vote for real, you have to also, you know, vote for the Senate. You gotta vote for the House of Representatives. You gotta understand, all of these people, if you're voting and you want the president to be a certain way, you gotta make sure they're a certain way too. Because if you live in a city and the person who represents you in the House of Representatives, the people, and the people who represent you in the Senate for your state, if they not for what you for, then I don't care what kind of president you got in there. It has to be right all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Even if you know, I forgot what they call the people that's actually in the city.
The alderman?
No.
The mayor.
I think it is like the.
It's like the alderman. I know the alderman is like the more local, like kind of precinct person, and then you've got the city councilman. You got the.
That's
mayor.
What I mean, like the city stuff like that. Yeah, people that sit on the city council, stuff like that. You know, all the way down to those people, you have to be active and vote. And some of those people sit in office for the longest, and they ain't doing shit. So if you're not voting for them specifically, or if you just going and voting for them because it's a familiar face, like you worried about the presidency, I'm going to vote for the president. And then you looking down, you don't know nothing about these people, but you just vote for the one you know. And you're not doing nothing for yourself. You don't know what these people are about. So you might be keeping the same. The problem is down there. It ain't up there. It's down there.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Because when these bills and stuff is getting passed, your opinion is not in that room because the president ain't in that damn room.
Yes.
That nigga that familiar face that you know and love is the one in that room voting opposite the way you want him to.
Exactly.
And now you mad, saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think people just got to really do their homework on how, the government is ran.
Yes.
And understand that if you want to lock something down, you have to start from the bottom.
Yes, absolutely.
And go up. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's perfect. And also just I think that people, when we talk about how government is ran, a president does not create legislation.
Nope.
President has nothing to do. Like, there was somebody who was like, oh my God, Trump did so much with, that bill. Like, he didn't do nothing. Nope. What are you talking about? Like, he absolutely did nothing. A lot of these presidents, really, the president, and this is not conspiracy theory. You can go and you can, look up the way that our government works. The president is the executive branch. Then we have the legislative branch, which is the Senate and the Congress. And then we have the judicial branch. So they're writing all that stuff. And the Senate, the Senate and the Congress, the Senate, they could sit there for their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the problem. That's, the biggest problem.
The Senate could what?
They can sit there for their whole life. There's no term. There's no term. So you've got people that are sitting there in the same place. So all that
doing nothing.
Getting money, right? Getting money.
Getting rich.
And
because the lobbyists is putting into their campaign. Like, people are throwing money at them left and right because they want to sway their decisions. Mm-hmm. And your dumb ass sitting there talking about, the president. No, it's that nigga in the Senate. It's that nigga in the House of Representatives that been there for 30 years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And in there just pimping.
Yes. Pimping.
They don't understand. I mean, people don't get it, man.
Yeah, well, we're good. That's why we have conversations like this. And that's why I do feel like Kanye, when he speaks on this, I feel that it is for people to start to have conversations. Yes. Because when you think about it, y'all, he's in rooms that we can't even imagine being in. You dig? He's talking to the president of the United States.
And then coming back and telling your dumb ass some shit. And y'all talking about, Kanye crazy.
Kanye crazy.
Kanye crazy. Benefit. What the fuck you think makes Kanye the way he is? Because he knows shit y'all don't know.
Yes.
And if y'all knew the shit he knew, you probably would have blown your own brains out by now.
You dig? Right.
This nigga over here wigging and going crazy because he's hearing shit that y'all don't fucking hear.
Right.
And trying to tell y'all. And it's like, how do you keep beating a dead horse?
Because the worst thing they did was they said that he was bipolar. That was the worst thing that you could have done to him. That's the worst thing to do to a black man, is say that he crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing to do to any person. Fuck a black man. Any person is to say they crazy.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as one person says they crazy, anything else that comes out your mouth is going to be construed as crazy, and he's off his meds. And I will say, it's very disrespectful to constantly say that and to go with the crazy card, because that is what they've done to us for a long time. And also, I think that it's actually very dismissive for people that actually do have mental health issues. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just gonna write them off crazy because that was why they did that. Don't go tell him to take his medication. And the reason why I say that is because if you knew anything about bipolar disorder or any of these types of mental health issues and diseases, this is an experiment. Your doctors don't know really
they made it up.
What to give you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're just trying stuff. I went through it with my mother, and her doctor was like, well, we'll try this. Well, we'll up this dose and lower this dose and do this. And I'm like, y'all just experimenting with my mother right now. This is just a science project for y'all.
That's how it is with everybody.
Yeah.
With every disease, with everything. That's why there's multiple different types of antibiotics. Mm-hmm. We'll try this one for you, or it doesn't work. We'll give you madagascar, whatever the fuck they want to call it. We'll give you anti-malevolent, whatever. And if that don't work, we'll give you inferior or whatever.
Right.
And then now your ass is out here with a whole bunch of medicine in your body. And obviously the first two ain't work. So what did it do to your body? Right. If it ain't do what you needed it to do, what did it do?
What did it
you
do?
Get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and did it damage me more?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm totally down with that, because when y'all keep saying they need to take their medication, that's almost like saying y'all need to just keep poisoning him. Let somebody be, because sometimes when the mind is going through adventures, it might seem crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you've got to let your mind go to different places sometimes.
And you got to listen to people when they talk, because Kanye said, he made a documentary, his docuseries. The third one, he said was there to let you know sometimes you gotta mute Kanye. Sometimes you gotta, you know, and he understands in himself. If you can't handle what I'm saying, I'm not crazy, but if you can't handle it,
right, just
press mute.
Just mute.
You don't gotta listen.
Yeah, cause
don't call a nigga crazy.
Right.
Just say you don't understand.
Right.
Because a lot of shit he was talking before, people ain't understand. But now all of a sudden, yeah, he's a genius. So what y'all gonna say in a few years from now? After telling a nigga to take his meds, now you're gonna say he a genius again? You feel what I'm saying? Like that shit crazy, and it's like that'll drive a nigga like him crazy, which is sad.
Yeah. I'm about to play that last clip I just emailed.
Now, is it from the same interview?
It is from the same interview.
Because I'm looking at the same thing,
It's from the
and
same
if it's
interview.
not, if it's the same thing again,
it's from the same
all
interview.
right,
It's from the same
I'm
interview,
just-
but
I'm
I was
just-
correct this time.
I hope so.
Yes. Look, just have faith in me.
I do. I did the first time.
When Lizzo loses 10 pounds and announces it, the bots, that's a term for people like, it's like telemarketer callers, like on Instagram, they attack her for losing weight because the media wants to put out a perception that being overweight is the new goal when it's actually unhealthy. Yes. Let's get aside the fact of whether it's fashion and Vogue, which is not. Let's just, or if someone thinks it's attractive, to each his own. It's actually clinically unhealthy, and for people to promote that, it's demonic. You know.
What can I ask?
Yeah.
I've noticed this also.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would want to promote unhealthiness among the population?
It's a genocide of the black race. They want to kill us in any way they can. Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, and I believe that if we saw ourselves as a people and not a race, then we would treat our people better. Like if you go to a Jewish person and you say a race, it almost gets confusing. They'll cut you off quickly and say, we're not a race, we're a people. Well, our people are supposed to just say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, well, what about, do you own the land that you're living in? Do you own, is the contract even in a language that's even possibly understandable, you know, for your heritage, you know? And in America, we as blacks will like down each other on how good we speak, but we're speaking English. There's nothing whiter than English. We're not in our native tongue, actually. So we judge each other on white goal lines, not based on exactly what our culture is based on.
Oh my gosh. You know, I love him. Like, I love him. We need just a hand clap on that one. Real talk.
Kanye do be spitting.
Yo. Okay.
So in the comments,
we'll read some of the comments after we did. We're gonna address this real quick, or
okay,
we'll go read some comments.
No. Address it.
Only because when he said that about Lizzo, so like a couple years ago, I was like, it was when Lizzo was she was twerking at a basketball game or something, and she kept on showing her bare butt, and they were like, oh my gosh, she's so confident. I was like, she don't like that. Like, she not happy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that can tell me that she's happy. I read energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't just be going off of just my own thoughts. Sometimes I see people and they energy talk to me, and I'm like, she is really not happy that her being overweight is like the prime of her career. That's what gets her talked about, is her showing her bare butt. But you cannot tell me, and this is no offense to anyone that is overweight, but I've been 272 pounds. I was not freaking happy at 272 pounds because everything is not meant for somebody of that size. You go to the movie theater, you get stuck in the seat. You get stuck in seats everywhere. I couldn't put my seatbelt on. I felt like everywhere I was going, I was smushing through stuff. Like, it's miserable. And one thing that I noticed is that what he said, he tapped into eugenics, which is it's in Brother Reese's book. Actually, we talked about eugenics, but he's like, bruh, you don't see that they do promote the most unhealthy thing for us to do all the time.
Right.
Like you're promoting to be overweight, or you're promoting to have surgery. You're promoting all of the most unhealthy things possible. And we didn't go deep into it when Brother Risa was here because he's a talker, so I needed to let him speak, and I spoke less.
Right.
But I want to bring back dysgenics. So this is a concept, like eugenics is the concept of creating a dominant race. But dysgenics is the concept of over time repopulating a certain race to be weaker. And so when I say that we're part of a big dysgenics program, that is an example, because you're constantly, generation after generation after generation, you're seeing us become a weaker race of people, not because we don't have money. We might have more money and a little bit more freedom than what our elders had.
Right.
But when we look at concepts like we glorify things that are bad for us, and then we shun people who try to tell us something is good for us. Like, try to be a vegetarian in Atlanta and come and order food. People will be like, no meat, or I'll be like, no butter, no salt.
It's the South.
It's like, what?
It's the South.
But it's that thought process that we are constantly, every generation, we are becoming a weaker race. We're becoming weaker and weaker in our minds, in our thoughts, in our actions. We're becoming stronger with our money. But then again, how much money do niggas really have?
For real.
Like, really? Like, how many people have life insurance?
Barely any.
Real talk. How many people have a 401k?
Barely.
How many people have a Charles Schwab account? So a money market account. So like, were you a Charles Schwab? If y'all ever have a chance, get a Charles Schwab account. You don't even get fees when you go to ATMs. You can go to any ATM. Like, these are things that we don't have. But then because of someone having a car or a certain kind of money, or because someone can go and spend tens of thousands of dollars to fix their body, not even fix their body, to mutilate their body, we are looked at as like, okay, we've gotten better in generations. But with the whole Lizzo thing, like, I feel him on that. Like, it is crazy that we watch a lot of our people being put out there, and it's almost like abuse. Like, it's abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it looks abusive as fuck. That you are really capitalizing off of this poor girl. Like, and whenever I see her, she don't look happy to me. She just don't look happy to me. You know, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be bigger. Some people are bigger people. Like, I'm not saying, some people are just...
I've been big my whole life. So.
Yeah, it's not about being fat. It's some people are bigger people, like 6'2" or every... You know what I'm trying to say?
Big.
Like,
okay,
I mean, they're even just thick. There's some people that are just thick, and their whole family be thick. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who, like Monique. She was always talking about she was big and beautiful and all that. But she even admitted, like, no, like, I'm not healthy. I have diabetes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to lose the weight. And there was pressure for her to stay big because that fit her character, you know? So without a lot of that, I look at all of that, and I'm just like, when it comes to Kanye, I don't want to go too long about Kanye, but I see that he does things to get to us, but we miss the boat because we believe the surface lie. And it's almost like we get puppeteered into just talking about Kanye in this negative way, when I'm like, yo, he be talking for our people the most. You know what I'm saying? He be spitting real shit, and everybody want to miss it because you want to talk. I'm sure there's tons of people that's on my Instagram like, oh, nah, he wore a White Lives Matter shirt. So the fuck what? Like, so the fuck what? Like, I'm over seeing Black Lives Matter. I don't need you to tell me that my life matters. I know that it matters very much, actually. Like, nothing about you is going to make me feel like my life is more valuable. In fact, these white folks used all of that. Actually, when we talk about what you were saying with Joe Biden and the marijuana thing. So really, on the surface, it looks like they're changing the schedule so that they can free people from prison. But really, it's a lot of white lobbyists that are for the legal marijuana business that want it to be changed, because that's the and if y'all get into it, it can be black lobbyists too in the cannabis business. But once that changes, there's something called the 280E. It's a tax code. So with that tax code, if you have a business that is that has a Schedule 1 or Schedule 2, then you can't write off any of your expenses. So the legal cannabis business needs marijuana to be changed out of a Schedule 1 so that then you can use the 280, you can dismantle the 280E. So now you can actually write off a lot of that shit. That changes your bottom line completely. Like, imagine a business that you cannot write off your expenses. Your taxes are crazy. You know what I'm saying? So there's always it's the surface, but you got to look under the surface. Like, I want us to start looking under the surface, educating yourself and understanding really why they do things. Because when it comes to government things, politics, the surface is always not going to be what it is. You guys to look up under the surface. And the brother Kanye is calling for y'all to do that. You know what I'm saying? Every action is calling for y'all to do that. And you're missing the boat. But I think it does go back to what you were saying when you were talking about having writers. It's about, you know, if he was a little more direct, you know what I'm saying? But then it makes me wonder, how direct can he really be and be safe? You know? How long can he really be that direct and they let him continue to be direct?
Well, if you're doing it how he's supposed to, and he has the money to now, if you have writers and you have security and you have all these things going on, you'll be all right. You just gotta move right. You gotta move right. You have to have an army. You have to have a real, you know, in order to do what I'm telling you to do. And with $9 billion, he could do it. He can move how he want to move. He'll be all right. He got to move that way anyway because he Kanye.
Yeah.
He has to move because there's many people that probably got it out for him. So at the end of the day, he got to move like that now already. So he'll be all right. Like money talks. You understand what I'm saying? And with $9 billion, he will be safe if he knows how to move. You just got to know how to move. And Kanye strikes me as a person that knows how to move. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he ain't dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just got to move right.
Got to move right. All right. Well, let's get into some of the comments that were there. We kind of just was talking.
You might not like them, but okay.
Sure. Let's hear the comments. So.
Tess Phoenicia Parks said, Dr. Christina Parks here. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Oh, peace, Dr. Christina Parks. Yeah. Shout out. That's a big warrior. That's a big soldier. She's a scientist, but she's a soldier for a lot of anti-vaccine, just helping us with that mission.
Okay. Crystal Hill said, I love your take on the ex. She must love her ex.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right. Dr. Parks said, yes, we need all perspectives. One paradigm doesn't get to define what it means to be black. Yes, that's what Dr. Park said. Yvette Murphy said, what happens to vanilla ice cream when you add chocolate syrup to it? It becomes chocolate ice cream.
Oh, that was in response to you saying that they're white. When I'm like, but they're black.
But they're still white in the ice cream.
But they're black.
No, they're not ice cream, so we can't say
black.
it like that.
I'm not
Their
saying...
genes have white...
Yes, but see, okay.
White stuff in it.
All right.
So they're going to have white... what's it called?
Remnants of white.
No, not remnants, but it's going to be, you know...
No, I mean, I'm part white. I will tell anybody
so
that I'm part white. I'm part white.
All right, what was you about to say?
No, I'm part white. I do say that, but I embody and understand that in the United States of America, I'm black.
And that's understood.
And what people see is
and
a
I
black
feel like
person.
and I do feel like, and I agree with, you know, if anybody in a black person or anybody, any type of minority, you know, have relations and have a kid, I do believe that kid becomes a minority. You become black, you become whatever, you know, like that's why, you know, the white population is slowly becoming a minority. But anyway, I'm saying that to say I understand where y'all coming from, but I'm just saying, you know, you still looking at your kids and they're light skinned and your wife is white. So it's like
I mean, you want to make sure they still have their white hair.
But I know what happens to ice cream, Miss Murphy.
It turns to chocolate.
Right. All right. Now we have.
We should have read these while we were in the moment.
But I couldn't because we were in the moment. Number one, and number two, I had the videos queued up, so I couldn't see it.
Oh.
In order for you to be ready to say, hey, play that video, I had to have the videos up and open.
Next time, I should have my comments up. Like, I should be able to read them at the
you
same time.
If you had your phone open.
Now we're thinking.
Now you're thinking. Cool. All right. Kiev Renee's Journey to Joy. I don't know if it's Kiev or Kievi or Cave or whatever. Kiev Renee's Journey to Joy says they have clear band-aids now.
Oh, they have clear Band-Aids. They made clear, but they didn't make
Hold
brown.
on. Slow down. Because Miss Murphy, with the smart mouth, I'm just playing, she came back to say they do have skin tone Band-Aids.
Oh.
I did not know that. Thank you. Then Miss Reeves.
This is so funny to go. It's like we're like taking a trip back into the conversation.
Yeah. She says it's all too much ego. We looking outside of ourselves for validation of our truths. That's what she said. Then we have what happened?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to. But you can go ahead and finish Is there any more comments that are like long or anything that is applicable so that
I'm reading. I don't know. So Madaraka Chi.
Madaraka. Shout out Madaraka. That's a DJ. She's a dope DJ.
Okay. Hey sis, getting it in. I love this topic. Now Crystal Hill came back and said, watching that makes me feel like he's using the White Lives Matter shirt to get the attention of people, and then once he gets their attention, now he goes into what he really wants to talk about.
That's the key. See, she just unraveled the key to Kanye, and that's what we were talking about. Yes, it's a talking point. It's to get your attention to now speak, and let's talk about this. Like, I feel like we should stop the Black Lives Matter stuff. Right. Put the Black Lives Matter signs down, white people. We don't need it anymore. We do not need that reminder that our lives matter. I already know that it does, but it's y'all that needs to know that.
But the police don't know.
That's y'all that needs to know that it matters.
Damn, not the ones holding it. It's the other people.
Oh, no. There's some of them people. A lot of these white people do that just so that they get into the club. This is a cool thing for them. Okay. I'm just being straight up. No disrespect, white people, but I grew up around white people in Roswell. I know them. I've seen them. Roswell. Yeah. Johns Creek. I've seen them and I know them. And a lot of them, they have this whole like, oh my God, I don't see color. I was raised not to see color. No, you should see color. You should see me, see my color, and you should accept it. Right. But by omitting color, that means that you're choosing to be colorblind, which means that you cannot accept my black ass or you cannot accept my black culture. So now you have to completely mute me. So now I have to be whitewashed or I have to be clear. I can't even just be black no more.
Can't be in your
You dig what I'm saying? Like, so all that, y'all the only people that need to be reminded that Black Lives Matter. And some of our people need to be reminded that as well.
Okay, so Miss Renee once again said, Kanye is grieving the loss of his mother. When a person loses their mother, their reality changes.
Yeah, it does. Yes. It does.
Crystal Hill came. These comments are after we're reading comments. So Miss Hill said, I have love for my ex, not in love. I'm sorry, I did say you must be in love. You did say that.
Hey, if you only knew.
And when you was talking about the white people basically doing that, for whatever reason, Lightworker Wayne said, hell yeah. And then he said facts.
Hell yeah, and facts.
And facts. He's in agreement.
Yeah, the loss of his mother thing. So that's, I feel the reason why I vibe with Kanye the most, actually, is because I just feel like once you've lost that person in your life that like pushed you the most, that has your back the most, you do become a different person.
And I think it was really hard for him because his mother wasn't sick. Mm-hmm. She just went in for a surgery and never came out, and that's like unexpected. That's like, I'll call you when you're done, Mom. I'll see you in a few. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, Mr. West, your mother's no longer here. That's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah. And there was also a level of guilt, I believe, because, and I'm not going to speak for him, but I do remember the way the story went was that she did go to a different doctor that told her no, she couldn't have the surgery. And he was like, well, my mom wants it. She's going to get it, and found another doctor that said yes. And so part of it could be like, damn, maybe I should have just went with the first. Yeah, because at the end of the day, though, like, you can't control what God has planned for someone's life. Right. That's in the equation, in the mathematics for their life, because, but I'm sure there was that moment too where it was like, shit, maybe I did, maybe
chilled out.
Yeah, but you can't fault somebody for riding for their mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, because it was a breast reduction, so. clearly when people have their breasts reduced, it's because they're probably having back pain. And Donda West was really, so I have the coolest story, and we're going to say this story before we end, which I thought was dope.
Well, we're done with the comments, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I used to work at this place called Z Gallery in Santa Monica, and this is like 2006, 2007. So this lady, it's usually white people that come in because it's like a upscale furniture home decor store. Right. So this lady comes in, she black lady, you know, just like by the end of her shopping, everybody was her best friend, you know. And so she was like, oh, this is all for my new apartment that my son got me. It's right down the street, you know, it's over here almost in Marina Del Rey. And she was like, so do y'all might know who he is. He's a rapper. So we're like, who is he? And she's like, oh, it's Kanye West. That's my son. So this is Donda West. And like, so to experience her energy, to experience her as just a cool little lady, you know, really, her energy was beautiful. I can imagine what that must be like to lose that, you know, because my mom was that same type of energy. Like, so it's tough on people, but I don't want people to make that like this thing over his head and just say, that's why he acts like this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he acts like this because he's like, no, like, I'm going to continuously speak up because, like, I understand like a different aspect of life now. You know, I don't want to sit and be passive. You don't want to sit and be passive in life.
But you know what's fucking with me? He been acting like this. While she was alive, he was acting like this. What's the problem?
Well, yeah, he did, huh? George Bush doesn't care about black people.
He been acting like this.
He was.
Why is everybody saying it's Kanye's being Kanye? He's been like this from the fucking beginning.
Maybe it's
the documentary should have shown people he was like this from the beginning. Before he had a fucking record deal, he was like this.
Right.
Ain't shit changed.
Ain't shit changed, but the year.
Ain't shit changed. The boy is acting the same.
Yeah. This is just who he is.
That's
dude.
it.
After my whole little monologue, I'm like, well, yeah, that is true. He was this way before his mother died.
He grieved. He did some wild shit while when she was gone.
Yes.
You know, questionable people he dated and stuff he was doing, but he's being him. That's just who he is. Ain't shit changed. I don't really, you know, I don't see what people are saying. I just feel like the boy he's just growing deeper into his genius, and like I said, he can't really express himself the way people want him to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm speaking, you know, genius, and you speaking, you know, 12th grade, maybe some college.
Say idiot.
Yeah, maybe some college. Then how the fuck can we, you know what I'm saying? How can we really relate?
Yes.
Like I said, when he said that shit about Harriet Tubman, it went over my head. All I thought was, damn, so they got free and went straight to more slavery. No, you right. It's more so we still working for the same people. So it's a level. You starting to understand his thinking, so that's why you can catch on.
Yeah.
Not everybody gonna catch on.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying? And then they sitting there giving us the pieces that we don't want.
Exactly.
You give us just the Harriet Tubman part and cut it off. What you think's gonna happen?
Right.
Because they trying to discredit that brother. They trying to make it so we don't want to listen to him, and a lot of us ain't. It says, oh, he's crazy.
Yes.
And that's it. It's
yes.
over for him.
So we're going to leave with this message here and build off what he just said. When you see things in media, when you see a snippet, when you see a random photo, that is now for you to research.
Do your due diligence,
Take
people.
it upon yourself to find out the context of what he said, to find out the reason of what he said before you start going on social media and talking, or before you start to pass judgment on him. Because what we said earlier, you have to think about, this man is in rooms that you are not in, and here's conversations that you cannot hear. You know what I'm saying? And he still comes out and he speaks a certain way. So he's speaking a certain way based off of the information that he has. You have to deduce that there is something more to what he's saying. So all that to say, with our brother Kanye, we love you, Kanye. I miss the old Kanye, but I still love the new Kanye. You dig what I'm saying? So let's make sure that we are keeping our minds open, and we're doing our research, doing our due diligence, and keeping support for the brother. All right?
Right.
So that will be our episode today for Oracle Connect. Beautiful build with my brother Rich Mo. Rich Mo.
Rich Mo.
I really want.
I enjoyed it.
We should totally end with your song. I just didn't have time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. But that'll be for next week. So next week, same bad time, same bad channel. We'll see who we have next week. I don't know yet, but bam.
You are now tuned in to Black Ink Radio.